Hello everybody, it's me again, and today we are going to analyze chapter 8 from A Puzzle for Logan. Remember that in the previous chapters they had caught Ronnie Campbell, and they had asked him questions, and he denied having killed Craig Sinclair. Now, at the beginning of this chapter, we are going to read about the questions that Grant and Logan have for Jimmy. Do you remember Jimmy Brown? Jimmy Brown was the partner of Morag Mackenzie, and Morag Mackenzie was the woman who was found dead in Hollywood Park. So, let's start. I am going to share the screen for you. And of course, that I have got some questions for you. Remember that you can find all the questions in the platform. You don't have to write the questions when I am telling the questions, okay, when I am asking the questions. And I have also highlighted here in green, blue, I don't remember, and pink, all the different characters that appear. The blue is going to be for Jimmy, pink for Morag Mackenzie, and green, or I don't remember the other color, for the other characters that are going to appear here in this chapter. So let's start chapter 8.
Chapter 8. The Mystery Car. "Sorry you've had to wait so long," said Logan sweetly, as she and Grant came into the room where Jimmy Brown was sitting. It was just after 1 o'clock. "We've been rather busy," she added. Brown just looked at her angrily. "Been having an interesting conversation with the robbery unit?" asked Grant, sitting down on one of the chairs opposite Brown. "I've been up half the night answering questions," said Brown. "Why don't you go away and leave me alone? I know I'm in trouble for the stolen things in the flat, but I had nothing to do with Morag's murder. Just go away and leave me alone."
So one of the things that I am going to ask you about is, what did Jimmy say about being in trouble? Here, he said that he was in trouble for stealing some things, but he didn't do anything, or he had nothing to do with Morag's crime.
Logan sat on the other chair opposite Brown and looked at him. "Jimmy, I just want to find the person who killed Morag," said Logan. "Now, where were you yesterday?" "At home," said Brown. "I told you." "I know that's what you told us," said Logan, "but that wasn't the truth, was it?" As she said this, she looked Brown straight in the eye. Jimmy looked back for a few seconds, but then looked away and started to bite his lip. "I followed Morag," he said softly. No one spoke.
So the next question and the last question for this page will be, what did he end up confessing? Remember that end up es terminar haciendo algo que quizás no tenías planeado, okay? We learned this phrasal verb at the beginning of the year. So what did he end up confessing? He ended up confessing that he had followed Morag Mackenzie, but we still don't know why. Let's go to the next page.
"I didn't kill her." Brown spoke again. "Really, I didn't." "Why didn't you tell us this before?" asked Logan. "I know what the police are like. Just because I've been in trouble before, you think you can get me for anything now. It doesn't matter what I tell you, you're all the same. So why should I tell you anything? And now, because I didn't tell you the truth, you're going to think that I killed Morag." Brown was beginning to get angry again. "Jimmy," said Logan patiently, "you're a criminal, and I don't like you. But you don't have to be afraid of me if you didn't murder Morag." Jimmy gave Logan a strange look. Police officers didn't often say things like that, not to people like him anyway. "So why did you decide to follow Morag?" asked Logan. Brown looked down at the table as if deciding if he should tell the truth or not. Finally, he looked at Grant and then at Logan. I wanted to find out who the main man was. Why? Asked Logan.
Me too.
Why now? Why not before? Well, Morag and I'd only known each other 6 months. We only got the flat together a couple of months ago. I didn't want to put my nose into her business too early. So I waited. Until now. I thought it was time to find out who the main man was.
Yes, me too, and I am sure that you too think that now is the time to find out who the main man is. So, the questions for this page will be, why had Jimmy followed Morag? And of course, he had followed her because she wanted to know who was the main man. That's it, okay? Who the main man was, sorry. And for how long had Jimmy and Morag known each other? Recuerden que para decir, vieron que nosotros en español decimos mucho, sí, nosotros nos conocemos somos amigos desde hace 5 años. Recuerden que utilizamos presente perfecto en inglés para decir hace cuánto tiempo conocemos a una persona. For example, I have known my best friend for 5 years, since we were in kindergarten, okay? So, for how long had Jimmy and Morag known each other? They had only known each other for 6 months. So, he didn't want to put his nose, a ver, les voy a mostrar de nuevo la frase esta por aquí. To put his nose into her business. Meter las narices en sus negocios. Él como que no quería mucho meterse en su vida. Solamente se conocían hace 6 meses y hace poquito recién tenían el departamento juntos. Okay? Let's continue. I'm sorry. Please wait for me. Here.
And did you find out? Asked Grant. No, said Brown. Let's go back to before Morag went out, said Logan. When we spoke to you at the flat, you said that Morag made a phone call. That's right, said Brown. You thought she wanted to meet her main man. Yes, said Brown. Did she usually ring him or did he ring her? Asked Logan.
So this is something important. Imagine that I am Morag, okay? And you are Jimmy, and I always receive calls from the main man. Hi, main man, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But this particular day, I am the one making the call, and you don't know who I am calling to. Entonces ustedes quizás dicen, che, ¿estará llamando al main man? Pero es medio dudoso, porque si a mí siempre me llama, ¿por qué yo justo hoy lo estoy llamando al main man? So, this leads me to the next question, okay? The questions for page 45 will be, who made the phone calls, Morag or the main man? Normally, okay? And what had been different that day? And where did Morag go and what happened there? So it will be all highlighted.
Brown gave Logan another strange look. Yes, yesterday was unusual. He usually rang her. In fact, I don't think I can ever remember her calling him except for yesterday.
Yesterday was different.
So why do you think she called him yesterday? Asked Logan.
I don't know.
I don't know, said Brown, thinking hard. What were you doing before she called him? Asked Logan. Watching TV. Then suddenly she jumped up and made the phone call. I just thought she'd forgotten something. What time did this happen? Asked Logan. I don't know. Midday, maybe. Yes, it must have been around that time because we were watching the midday news. Okay, said Logan. Now what time did you say Morag went out? Soon after that, replied Brown. Logan looked at Grant, and he started to ask the questions. Where did she go? He said. She walked down Dalry Road towards the Haymarket, said Brown. And then this car stopped beside her. She got in the car, and that was it. The car drove away.
So, where did she go? Well, she went to this particular street, and that's all that we know, okay? We don't know anything else. Here it says towards the Haymarket, pero no nos da como una información muy detallada, ¿ok? No confundan este lugar con el lugar donde fue encontrado la tienda de conveniencia Jenner's, donde fue encontrado Campbell, porque yo en un momento, la primera vez que lo leí, medio que me confundí. Eran lugares diferentes, ¿ok? Ella fue hacia un lugar, él la estaba siguiendo, and a car stopped beside her. She got in the car and they drove away. He couldn't see more than that.
Logan sat back in her chair, thinking. Campbell's escape would have been on the midday news. Morag must have seen that and phoned her main man. She started listening to Grant and Brown again.
So this part is very important. It gives you an idea of what was happening inside Morag's mind. They were watching the news, and then she knew that she had previously, some years ago, accused Ronnie Campbell from killing Fred Sinclair, and that's why Ronnie Campbell was in prison. And if she was watching the midday news, and she saw and she knew and she learned about Campbell's escape from prison, she would have thought, he is going to come and kill me. Okay, so maybe she was afraid, and that's why we suppose that we are just guessing, okay? And that's why she called her main man.
What kind of car? Asked Grant. Don't know, said Brown. Big? Small? Asked Grant. Big, said Brown. And a dark colour. Blue or green or something. Grant and Logan looked at each other. Which? Asked Logan. Blue or green? I don't remember. Did you see the car number?
La placa, la patente.
Oh, come on, Inspector, said Brown. It was just a car. What was the person in the car like? Continued Grant. I don't know. This all happened about 50 metres away. I couldn't see very much. Think back, said Logan. Remember what happened.
Okay, so I am going to ask you if Jimmy could remember the car, the driver, the color, and it was a big car, it was maybe green, maybe blue, it was dark, and that's it. He didn't remember much.
Did you see anything else? No, nothing. Which way did they drive away? Asked Grant. They drove up towards the Haymarket, said Brown. And what did you do? Asked Grant. I went back home, said Brown. But first you bought a newspaper, said Logan. How do you know that? Asked Brown. I'm a detective, said Logan, and smiled. Come on, Jimmy, Grant said. What do you think Morag did for the main man? You must have an idea. She went to parties and looked after some of the people he did business with, if you know what I mean.
Yes, we know.
Talked to people and made them feel welcome. And she slept with them? Asked Grant.
Yes.
Yes, and that, said Brown quietly. That's another reason we didn't talk about it too much.
So we finally know what did she do, what she did for the main man. And yes, girls, we were right. At the beginning, we were like, yes, I don't know. What do you think? I don't know, guys. Do you think that she slept with them? No. How can we read something like that? Yes, it happens. It's real life. And you are teenagers, adults, it's okay. You can read about this. So my question will be, of course, what did Morag do for the main man? And now you can tell whatever you want, but be respectful, okay? Please You can't say that she is a prostitute or that she was a prostitute or a whore or a slut. Please use respectful language, okay? You can say it here in class if you want, but respectful language. And how did Jimmy react? Will be the last question for this page. When Grant and Logan mentioned Baxter. Is it okay? Because they are going to mention Baxter now.
Did Morag ever talk about someone called Robert Baxter? Asked Logan. Brown's eyes suddenly opened wide in surprise.
He was surprised.
Robert Baxter? Is he the main man? He asked. You know him? Asked Logan. Everyone knows Robert Baxter, said Brown. I mean, I don't know him really, and I don't want to know him, but I know who he is. Is it possible that he was the main man? Asked Logan. Brown's shoulders went up and then down. It's possible, he said. But Morag never talked about him. Did she talk much about the past? Logan asked. Not really, Brown said. Did she ever talk about Craig Sinclair? Craig Sinclair? That little rat. No, she didn't talk about him.
So I will ask you about these two guys, about Craig Sinclair and Baxter, and if Morag has ever talked. How did I ask? Sorry. Has Morag ever talked about Baxter or Sinclair? No, of course she didn't mention them before, but Jimmy knew them.
Brown was angry again. His eyes had lit up. But I remember him. He once sold me a couple of boxes full of CDs, and then the next day the police came round to my place and found them. He promised me he hadn't told the police where to find them. I didn't know if I believed him or not. I got into big trouble for that, the little rat. Of course, he was murdered as well, said Logan quietly. Logan watched Brown's face as he suddenly realised talking about Craig Sinclair like that might be a mistake. Hey, come on, he said. I know he was murdered. I didn't like him, but that doesn't mean I killed him.
Lo odiaba, pero no lo mató.
Later, Logan and Grant were sitting in Logan's office drinking coffee. They had taken Brown through his story again, but he hadn't added anything or changed any of it.
Muy real todo. No cambia nada.
Should we believe Jimmy Brown? Asked Grant. I don't know, said Logan, shaking her head. It's strange that he knew Sinclair as well. We'll need to check what Brown was doing when Sinclair was murdered. Yes, said Grant. And the information about the car was interesting. The Audi that Campbell stole was dark blue, said Grant.
Important.
And Baxter's car's dark green, said Logan. She turned her chair and looked out of the window into the park across the road. Some young children were playing while their mothers lay on the grass in the warm sunshine. Logan remembered that this time the day before, she had been on the beach. A lot had happened since then.
Todo esto en un día, chicos, eh?
She turned and looked at her watch. It was already 3:30 in the afternoon. Yes, I think we should talk to Baxter again first, she said. Phone him and invite him along here. Say I'd like to speak to him. Tonight would be best. If not, tomorrow morning. There was a box full of papers about Craig Sinclair's murder on her desk. She pulled it towards her. I want another look at this information about Craig Sinclair's murder before I talk to Baxter. As Grant left, she picked up the first page and started to read.
Okay, so that is really interesting. This is an interesting chapter because now we have two different images from two different criminals. Ronnie Campbell, that was in prison, accused from murdering Craig Sinclair. We also start knowing about Jimmy, that he was a small criminal and he, as we know now, he didn't have many connections with Morag Mackenzie. They lived together, but maybe they only shared the apartment. And he also wanted to know who the main man was. As we want to know who the main man is, everybody here now wants to know. Remember that Ronnie Campbell's car, the car that he stole, was a dark color, maybe blue, I think. Yes, the blue Audi, and Baxter's car was green. So maybe Moran Mackenzie went and met with Baxter or with Ronnie Campbell. By now, of course, I have read the book lots, hundreds of times, but by now, as thinking like this is the first time that I am reading, I say that Morat Mackenzie had a main man. She did dirty work for him, and that the main man was Robert Baxter. And I think that Robert Baxter had something to do with Ronnie Campbell, and maybe that's why Moran Mackenzie accused Ronnie Campbell because she wanted to continue with the main man. Well, that is going to happen next week. So, yes, next week. So, we are almost getting to the end. Please analyze everything thoroughly and think about it before you answer and study hard. Have a nice day, week, whatever, whenever you are seeing the video. Bye bye.